Okay, I think we are recording. So, um, hopefully all of y'all are looking forward to Food Challenge this year. I'm really excited that we are going to get to have Food Challenge. Um, I know it's gone kind of back and forth with this one because there is so much interaction between kids and we're cooking and just there's a lot of safety stuff to think about and think through for the contests. And so, um, really there's not a lot of changes to the contest, but I want to go through kind of how it works and what updates and changes there are and kind of how we're going to make the contest work at the county level and some stuff like that. So I'll just go ahead and get started. For this contest, there are 3 age divisions: junior, intermediate, and seniors. So our juniors are grades 3 through 5, intermediates are 6 through 8, and our seniors are 9 through 12. And if a junior wants to be on an intermediate team, that is allowed. However, you can't move down an age level, and no one is allowed to move into the senior age division. The reason for that is just that they do qualify beyond the district level, and so we can't have anybody extra in that senior age division. So that's kind of how the age division breakdown works. You can have 3 to 4 members per team, no more, no less than that. It can be made up of any kids from the county. They don't have to be in the same club. Just all need to be from the same county and all need to be members of Johnson County 4-H, and that should make up a team. And then just a side note on the teams, those of y'all who have done it before kind of understand the team name and the theme and all of that and the attire. But for our newbies, kids really get into that. That's part of the judging process, is the creativity. It can go into the presentation part of it. And so it's really important to think through a really creative team name. Know that whenever you enter the contest, and then use that team name and theme during the presentation. Use it for the attire the kids are going to wear during the contest. Kids usually match, wearing aprons, matching aprons or chef suit or, coat or whatever. And we'll talk a little bit about hair restraints later, but that can also be included in that team theme and team name. And so that's kind of important as far as the team goes. Categories this year have changed. For the county level, for each age division, all of the kids in the age division will be in the same category. That way we can advance the maximum number of kids onto the district contest. However, when you get to the district contest, or if you go to any other contest, like at a stock show or an invitational contest, you are going to be put into categories. You won't know that category until you get to the contest, and it'll play into the dish that you prepare. And so our categories this year have changed to appetizer, main dish, side dish, and healthy dessert. So I think those will be a little bit more straightforward when we're talking about preparing a dish. And that's really kind of the focus. We've had questions in the past about, do you prepare a full meal? Do you prepare just one serving, multiple servings? What are you supposed to actually prepare? Well, you prepare a full dish. It's a single thing. It's not multiple different things. It's not a full meal. It's not a main dish and 2 side dishes. It's a single dish that's multiple servings, and then the kids tell how many servings are on that plate and how big a serving size is. That can also be used to help calculate that cost per serving. And so, when we talk about those categories, it'll be easy to say, okay, this dish is an appetizer. So whatever my key ingredient is this year, I've got to create an appetizer out of that. And so I think that's something that during practices this year, we can really focus on, what are those different categories and what can we create within those categories that fit the category? Because they're going to want to see kids staying within the category they're assigned to and not being creative beyond that. So provided at the contest are a series of resources, and those are things that you can use to practice with, but they will be provided on the table. There's 4 different things that are provided. Those are the food safety fact sheet, the Fight Back Fight Foodborne Illness brochure, Know Your Nutrients, which is kind of a breakdown of the different nutrients and what they do, and then the My Plate mini poster. Excuse me. Those are the 4 resources, paper resources, that are going to be provided to the kids during the contest. And so it's important that they're familiar with those resources. That way, during the contest, they know how to utilize them to look different information up. I think especially the Know Your Nutrients resource is going to be a very, very important one for them to know how to use. Also, coming into the contest, the teams will provide their supply box, which there's been a few changes to the supply box this year, and I'll kind of tell y'all what those are. One is that if you can't find sanitizing wipes, like Clorox wipes, excuse me, I've got horrible allergies right now. If you can't find sanitizing wipes, you can actually use a bleach solution spray. And there's a link to how to make that, you know, kind of what the ratios are in the Food Challenge guide. And then the gadget of the year, they've actually gone to a 2-year rotation, so you don't have to purchase a new gadget every year for your box. And the gadget stayed the same as it was last year, which is a manual spiralizer, and it can only be a manual one. So if you don't have that, you can go ahead and add that to the box this year. The rest of the supply box list is listed in the Food Challenge guide, and it's pretty straightforward things that are going to be from your kitchen. So if you're putting that thing together, you don't necessarily have to go out and buy all new stuff. You can possibly utilize some stuff that you already have on hand in your kitchen. Now there's one thing I want to kind of point out with the supply box, and that is with the hot plates. I noticed some of our Johnson.
How can I help you?
I need a taco salad with beef.
We don't need to know what Julie is eating for dinner, I guess. So with those hot plates, I've seen some teams from Johnson County use the induction style hot plates. And that's awesome because those things, the cooktop doesn't get hot and they actually heat the food up faster. So it's a really good investment. However, be very careful with the type of cookware you use with those induction hot plates, because not all cookware works on an induction hot plate. I've noticed that we've had some teams in Johnson County that get to the contest and they think their hot plate isn't working, when in reality it's an issue with the cookware. And so make sure that works together ahead of time if you do use the induction cooktop.
Kristen, and if no one has that and is deciding to change to it, Walmart and Target have the box that you buy the hot plate and the specific cookware comes with the hot plate. So then you don't have to guess on which cookware to use. It actually comes with the hot plate.
That's really good information. Thanks. The other thing with the supply box this year is that you can actually include some pantry items. And so the pantry and grocery store has changed just a little bit this year. I'll let somebody in. The boxes now allow you to put pantry items, and these are really common things that you're going to use in almost every dish, or things that you might need in a lot of dishes. And that way the contest doesn't have to provide these things. So those pantry items that can be included in the supply box are salt, pepper, oil, and there's specific sizes on the oil. 1 jar of chicken bouillon, 1 medium onion, 2 cans, up to 16-ounce cans of vegetables and or fruit, and the team can decide what 2 cans they want. And then rice or pasta, up to 16 ounces, and the team can choose which of those that they want to include.
Kristen, will you send us that list?
I sure will. It's all in the new guide, but I'll make sure I
Okay.
send that out after this is over.
Okay.
And so it's going to be really important that you include those things, because that's just more stuff you can cook with without having to spend that contest money that we give the kids. And then the kids, whenever they walk up to a table, now I said they would get those resources, those paper resources at their table. They will also receive a page that tells what their category is. Even at the county contest, kids will be assigned to a category, even though they'll all be in the same category. That way they know what dish they're cooking within, like which category they're cooking within. And then they'll have their key ingredient there. They will receive 1 key ingredient. And so, for example, appetizer, it might be some kind of cheese or something. Main dish, it could be more likely to be a meat. Side dish, it could be pasta. It could be a fruit or a vegetable. Healthy dessert, it could be a grain. It could be a fruit. Could be some type of bread or tortilla or something like that. And so I have no idea what we're going to do yet. We haven't really talked about that, but it's kind of wide open as to what the key ingredient could really be. But it should be something that a kid can work with within the category that we've assigned them. So, and then they will also receive some what we call Clover Cash, while they're there at their table. And that money will be able to be used at the grocery store. Now, the grocery store this year will probably have fewer items on it, but it's going to be things that go with the key ingredient and could be used in a variety of ways. They are required to buy at least 2 items from the grocery store to incorporate in their dish. So they can buy more than that if they want to. They also will use that Clover Cash to help determine the cost per serving. And that cost per serving is only going to have to be calculated by our senior level teams. So juniors and intermediates do not have to calculate cost per serving at the county or district level. So the objective of the contest is kids have 40 minutes to prepare a dish. We talked about that, not a full meal. Has to be at least 2 servings worth for the dish. They will use that key ingredient plus the pantry items plus grocery items. So they can combine all those different things to create that dish, and it has to fit in that category. And then they also, within that 40 minutes, have to plan their presentation and clean up their workspace. The judging will take place during the preparation, as well as they will be judged on their presentation. For preparation, it's 25% of the total score. And they will be judged during that 40 minutes on their food and equipment safety. And I'll talk for just a second on gloves and hair restraints there. There's no major changes with that this year. But gloves do not have to be worn throughout the entire contest. If they are worn, they need to be changed out after handling raw meat, basically, so that there's no cross-contamination issues. However, they don't have to use gloves through the whole contest, and they can use hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes and things like that in between. hair restraints, every kid has to have some type of hair restraint. So that can be a cap, it can be some kind of hat, chef hat, hairnet, scarf tied to your head, whatever it is. Hair needs to be pulled back. And boys and girls both have to have some type of hair restraint. And that was new last year, so we should be used to that one. So they will be judged on the food and equipment safety. They will be judged on teamwork, cooking procedures, and how well they cook things and kind of utilize that time. And then their workspace management, how they manage the space that they have, how they, is it clean, is it organized, that kind of stuff. Guys, I'm so sorry about the coughing. And then they will be judged, 75% of the total score will be on their presentation. So after that 40 minutes is up, they will move into the presentation time. We'll put kids in front of judges. They'll have 5 minutes to present their dish, followed by 3 minutes for questions. So during that presentation, they need to cover knowledge of my plate and how their food fits into my plate and how my plate fits into their lives as well. Nutrition knowledge, explanation of the food preparation, how they prepared their dish, food safety and equipment safety that they followed while preparing their dish, serving size and cost. Of course, the cost is for seniors only. The food appearance and presentation, creativity, the communication skills, how well they present, and then those questions that the judges are allowed to ask. All of that information that I just went over can be found on the scorecards, which are also in that guide. And so it's very important, I think, to take a look at the scorecards and kind of go through that with your team so that they know what to expect and what to cover during the presentation. Do y'all have any questions up to this point? Okay. So moving away from kind of how the contest works, I want to talk about the county contest. Hopefully you all had a chance to read the email that I sent out that kind of told how it was going to work and the schedule and stuff, but I want to go over that and review it a little bit with you. So our contest will be Monday, November 2nd at the Cleveland Conference Center in the Brazos Exhibit Hall, same place it's been for the last few years. Due to COVID, we've had to make a few changes. And so one is everyone that's there will have to wear a mask. Kids will have to wear a mask. That will also be true at the district contest. They'll be required to wear a mask during the contest. During the presentation, we will actually move those kids at least 6 feet away from the judges so that they can take their mask off while they're presenting. Because I think it's important that the judges can see them communicate properly without a mask on. So we'll make sure we have room to spread them out during the presentation. As far as the way we are going to handle the contest and kind of the logistics of everything that day, only contestants will be allowed and volunteers will be allowed in the exhibit hall. And so parents, this will be a chance for you to go do something for yourself without your kids with you. You'll actually arrive to the lobby of the conference center. We'll have a registration table set up. You can drop your team off with their equipment. We'll take them to their table. We'll have some volunteers to help with that. And from there, you can actually, parents and coaches can leave. And you can show back up around 8:30 that evening. So team registration and drop off is from 5:30 to 6 that evening. We'll do an orientation, we'll do our preparation phase, and then we'll do our presentation judging. And we will end with our awards ceremony, which we will stream via Facebook Live so that parents can see what's going on inside there when we're giving awards out. after the award ceremony is over, parents can come in to the lobby and pick kids up at the door. And so that's just allowing us to limit the number of people in the room and distance everyone out. So that's kind of the biggest change. Everything else will be run the same as it always has. For those of y'all who have done it before, there won't be a lot of changes. We just aren't going to have parents and siblings and friends in the room. So as far as dinner is concerned, we are going to have subs for all the kids there at the contest, so they'll be fed while they're there. We got individual box meals for them. So are there any questions on that? Entries are going to be due on October 26th. That's a Monday. So make sure you get your teams entered by then. Any questions on county contest? Okay. The district contest will be held December 3rd in Belton at the Bell County Expo Center. That contest is going to look very, very similar to the county contest. There have not been any major changes to the district other than what we've discussed already that are state level changes. So that one should be pretty straightforward. They are going to probably have more heats and make that a longer day, just so they don't have as many people in the contest room at a time, not as many teams at a time. So that might be the only change there. I know we have lots of people that participate in major stock show contests. None of that information has been released as of today. When it is released, I'll be sure to let everybody know information on how to enter those contests. I do want to let you know that there is going to be an invitational contest hosted by Tom Green County that will be held in San Angelo on December 5th. And that would be the Saturday after our county contest. It is open to the first 50 paid teams, and those entries are open now. So if you're interested in that contest, let me know, and I'll be happy to send you the information on how to get registered for it. I think that could be a really good opportunity to compete. So now just moving into some information on practices. And if y'all have any questions on anything, please just butt in and ask me. Make sure you unmute yourself if you do have a question. So moving into some information on practicing, they have released it's a list of recommendations on kind of best practices to keep our kids safe while they're practicing. And I just wanted to highlight a few things that I found on that. It is located on the District Food Challenge website. And so if you do want to read the whole thing, you can go there. But a few of the recommendations as far as practices go, just due to COVID and the things that are going on in our world right now, they are asking that you try to limit your practices to team members and coaches only, that extra parents and siblings and extra people are just not there. And that's less people that come in contact with each other and things like that. So, and they also said pick up and drop off of kids would ideally be held outside, so that that's just less people inside a building together. Again, these are just recommendations to help keep you safe. They're not requirements. They do recommend that everyone wear masks. They highly recommend hand washing as soon as you get to a facility, and then again when you begin working with any food. And then they're asking teams to try to limit the sharing of equipment from a box. And so with that, they're talking about maybe trying to give each team member different roles so that they know what equipment they're using during that process. And so you could probably think some of that through in the practices. You know, one kid is really going to be the one that's cooking on the cooktop and using the pan and stirring and doing things like that. You may have another kid that's kind of the cutting station. You may have another one that's the mixing station, and kind of that general idea. And so that hopefully would limit the number of times that different items are touched by kids. And so those are kind of the highlights from that and things that I think would be easy to implement. So, you know, just think through some of that as you're coaching teams and as you have some practices, so that maybe we can keep our kids as safe as possible. And just, I have kind of a list of ideas that could be things that you could do during practices that might help your team succeed. So, and other coaches that have done this for a while, feel free to pitch in and talk about anything that your teams have done that's helped them. So one is a practice could be done at the grocery store. You could talk about different ingredients and think through how those ingredients could be used in different dishes and within different categories. And so that could be a way for you to really talk through a lot of things without having to purchase a lot of food to practice with. But really kind of focusing on those ingredients and how they can be utilized. You could also assign a key ingredient at a grocery store and have the kids go out with a shopping basket and find the things that they would add to that key ingredient to make their dish. You know, they're not actually making it, but they're going out and thinking through how they would make it. You know, those things could be stuck back on the shelf, or you could buy them and actually make them make their dish later. So I think a grocery store is a really good, fun place to have a practice. Be aware of any mandates or guidelines that are going on in whatever community you're shopping in if you do go to a grocery store. Another good thing to practice is cost per serving with those seniors, and that could actually be done at the grocery store too, or you could just hand them a worksheet that has different costs for different ingredients and have them practice that cost per serving. Measuring, cooking, learning cooking terms and learning different cooking techniques without actually going through an entire contest. Those are all things that kids could practice, just learning the basics, because learning those basics is going to really help them succeed when they have to put it all together in a contest. They can actually practice those presentations, and they can do that without cooking anything. You know, you can give them a dish and have them create a presentation around it without ever cooking. They can practice nutrient knowledge and learning how to use those resources that we talked about, learning where all that information is within those resources. They could study the different resources and learn about things that they can include in the presentations. And then they need to really know their supply box. So another thing they can do is, you know, a scavenger hunt in the supply box, or just laying out all the different things that go in a supply box and quizzing them on what they all are and what they do and how to use them. Maybe some safety tips on different things that are in that supply box. And then, of course, a great way to practice is to actually do a practice contest from start to finish. Give them the 40 minutes to prepare something and make them put their presentation together, and then to take the time afterwards to go through that presentation and critique it and give them some positive feedback on how they can improve. And those are all going to be great ways to really utilize your practice time well. Over in the chat box, Gwen's safe and efficient chopping workshops are a great practice option. And I 100% agree with her. That is something that every year when we're doing the preparation phase, I walk around and I see lots of kids misusing knives. And so I think that is a very, very important thing that we need to teach our kids before they just walk into a contest, is how to safely use those knives and the different ways you can cut things. chopping things, dicing things, julienne, all the different ways you can do it. I don't even know all of them. But that's a great one, Gwen. Thanks for that information. So that's kind of my tips on practices and ways that you can practice. I and Keely, my coworker, are more than happy to help you think through practices, help you plan practices, help you find information that you can use for your practices. So please reach out to us and let us help you if we can. Gwen added to that the claw and rocker methods is the kind of safe way of chopping things, so you don't chop a finger off. So very good information to know. Don't forget on that same note, don't forget the first aid kit in the safety box. I mean, in the supply box. Every year I usually have to find a Band-Aid. So I really don't have a lot more information left. I'll open it for any questions you guys might have at this point. And Tracy and Penny, I know you guys joined a little bit later. I did record this, and so it will be available to watch from the beginning. Hey, y'all are a quiet group.
Okay, I just have not really a question, but just I would like the entry form to the invitational one. And then also I was just going to throw out that our team has an extra box. So if you have any new teams who don't want to invest in that and want to make sure they like it, they're welcome to borrow our box.
Okay. Thanks, Julie. And I'll make
You're
sure you get that entry form. Okay. If y'all don't have any more questions, I want to leave you with one other thing, and that's just kind of why we do this. You know, we love a good contest here in Johnson County, and our kids can get really competitive, and I know our parents can too. And so this is why I'm going to leave everybody with this. So the reason that we do Food Challenge is so that kids can learn nutritious and safe food preparation skills and develop healthy behaviors, so that hopefully when they go off to college and when they go off to be an adult, they know how to cook, and they know how to cook in a healthy way. So that's really the ultimate goal there. We also want to give them that opportunity to showcase the things that they've learned and the skills and knowledge that they have. And so that's the kind of the competition part of it. And then we hope that we're building some teamwork skills and the ability to learn from others and to work with both kids and adults in a setting. And finally, everything with 4-H includes some public speaking. And so we're hoping to teach those kids some public speaking skills through that presentation part of the contest. And, hopefully that will carry on into their adult life too. And so, we really want to focus on those things. In the end, of course, we want Johnson County to win the whole thing. We want all of our kids to be very successful, but if they're competing in this contest and they're going to practices and they're learning new things about how to cook healthy, then they're winning. And so just keep that in mind. So if you do have any other questions later, if something pops in your head, feel free to shoot me an email, text, call, whatever. Keely and I are both here to answer those questions. So thank y'all for joining this evening. And I know we went pretty quick, but hopefully I didn't tie up your whole evening doing this. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.